everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is NCT's Debate Club. What we're doing here is we are discussing the things in popular culture that needs to be discussed. We're answering the questions that nobody is asking. Before we get started, I want to remind you to please subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you're getting those notifications and know when we're posting all our fun stuff. We've got a lot of new stuff coming out this summer, and we want you there to see it. Okay, so what are we talking about today, folks? Today we're talking about television. That is my expertise. How does that become someone's expertise? Well, you see, for most of my life, I haven't had a life, so I had no TV. You get it. Okay, we're talking today about small towns in television. Who has the best one? Which one would you want to visit? And do any of our debaters actually have the right answer to that question? Spoiler alert, they don't. But they're going to try to convince you anyways. So let's get started, shall we? Hey, time for round one. Round one is going to be just a little introduction. So each of our debaters here is going to tell you all about the town that they are representing and why they think it's the best small town in television. I'm going to make sure they stick to the tropes, and I'm going to ask some questions along the way just to try and catch them in knowing whether or not they're right. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with Chrissy. Everybody else can leave. Hello, Chrissy.
Hi, Tricia.
All right, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about the town that you're representing today?
Well, I would like to invite everyone to just take a journey with me to Schitt's Creek, which is just a glorious little gem of a town that is off the beaten track, and it may take just a minute for you to fall in love with the many characters and exciting shenanigans of Schitt's Creek. But once you are just have been there for a short moment, you'll realize that it is the best TV small town.
Okay, all right. So if it's the best, let's talk a little bit about tropes. One thing that I know is true about most small towns in TV is that they have traditions. They have festivals, they have events, they have things that bring the towns together. Tell me about some of Schitt's Creek's traditions.
Well, of course, everyone looks forward to Twyla's annual murder mystery party, at which there will definitely be a theme, but there may not actually be anyone assigned to be the murderer, which means that party will never end.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chrissy. I hope that you watching are ready to determine whether or not Schitt's Creek is the perfect small town for television. Let's bring Kevin up next.
Hi.
Hi, Kevin. All right, so you are doing a very interesting town that many of us grew up on. So tell us all about your town.
Yes, I am proud to represent the small town of Sunnydale, California, home to one of our favorite heroines, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, Sunnydale, California, it is special because it has the wholesomeness of a small town, but none of the liveliness. And that's because most of the residents are dead or are about to die. And because of that, property values are really, really low. So it's very, very cheap to buy houses in Sunnydale. You can get a 3-bedroom house for about half the price than you would in Los Angeles because the crime rate is so high. And we like that. We like that in Sunnydale. I think perhaps the most special thing about this sleepy little town is that it's perfect for hip, clever young teenagers to just really thrive, because for some reason in Sunnydale, as you get older, the more clueless you become to your surroundings. I mean, it seems like as you become an adult, you just don't notice a gang of vampires walking down the street. You just keep going on, you go about your business, you read your newspaper, and you don't ask questions. And I think we're missing that in America these days.
Are we? Are we missing that? Okay. I do have a question for you. That was a wonderful pitch. I loved it. So one of the tropes in small town television is that we have the memorable townies, the people who live in Sunnydale. Are they interesting? Can you name 3 of them that aren't our main characters?
Yes. I think that the mayor, we just call him the mayor because he's that infamous. The mayor is such a unique personality because he is full of so many secrets and he has so many sinister motives that we just aren't aware of. And he has all of this elaborate backstory of evil doings that become so much more fascinating in hindsight.
That's fair. That is fair, and most small town in TV, we get to know the mayor, and we do in Sunnydale. So thank you very much, Kevin. Let's bring up Derrick next.
Hello.
Hi, Derrick.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm great. I'm very excited for you to talk about your show and your town because it's one of my favorites. But unfortunately, not a lot of people know about it. So why don't you introduce the folks?
So this town of Eureka, Washington, wait a minute, the pilot episode is over, Eureka, Oregon, is a town that was created in sci-fi for the TV show, wait for it, Eureka. So Eureka is a town in which after World War II, the US government got all of the top scientists and their families and moved them into a secret location. And they built kind of a researchers and scientific utopia. So it gets to the part of what can science do if it's not going to be driven by specifically budget constraints or specifically being able to make a dime off it. It's looking into seeing what technology can do or what science can do if it's uninhibited by a capitalistic society or a warmongering society. So they have a whole bunch of different fun departments that go over bio research. They have a Mars colonization in which they have people living in a sustained biome for 11 years. So it is legitimately one of those locations that in the show specifically, you're able to see it through the eyes of just a US Marshal that turns into their sheriff. It's a utopia because this town only has 2 cops and then later on a RoboCop, which is fun.
Yes, but you're burying the lead a little bit. I mean, Kevin told us all about how cheap real estate is going to be because everybody dies. Eureka has its own interesting issues.
Yeah, so Eureka, on the positive note, Eureka, everything costs $0. So if you're looking to get fed, you can go to Cafe DM, in which you can order anything and they'll make it for you. Their walk-in freezer is larger than most warehouses. That requires a shuttle to get to the back of it. So there's no cost for that. There's no cost of parking, even though the Department of Defense came in to see how they could make money off of Eureka and determined that their scientific qualities were worth more than they'd be able to make off of monetizing the community.
And what's the other side of that?
Well, also technology kind of goes astray and they have to use,
Okay, thank you very much, Derrick. Let's bring up Dorian next. I'm dancing in between because I'm pretending there's music. There's no music. Thank you. All right, Dorian. So we are going even further into the science fiction realm. I don't know how we've done this. We've just got a bunch of nerds on the show this week. Tell us all about your town.
All right, I want to tell you guys all about a sleepy little town in Indiana. It's got a pumpkin patch. It's got an arcade. It's got a mall. It's got a general hospital. It's got a memorial hospital. And it is so set in the 80s that nothing ever changes. That's right, I'm talking about Hawkins, Indiana, the town from Stranger Things, where they tested out
Audible
weapons.
gasp.
What?
I was just gasping.
At a national laboratory during the MK Ultra tests. That is the town that I'm pitching for as the coolest small town, Hawkins, Indiana.
Okay. It seems pretty. Is there anything that's going on there? We've seen the carnival. We've seen kids running rampant. Tell us, a lot of small towns in TV, they have kind of a legacy. They have generations that have been there. Do we know anything about anything that's happened in Hawkins before the 80s?
Well, I did mention the National Laboratory, and I did mention the studies about MK Ultra. And if anybody doesn't know what MK Ultra is, it was actual real mind control studies that the CIA did for reals, not in just fake land, but for reals as well. And there's a big history of that there in Hawkins, and it comes to bite them in the butt later in the show.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to take offense at the fact that you called my favorite thing fake land, but okay. So thank you, Dorian. And that was round 1 of our debate club.